They once called Liam the best doctor in the city of Vancouver. Hands that saved lives, a face that inspired trust. But one tragic day changed everything. An acid attack melted away not just his skin, but his career, his fiancée, and the life he thought was his. Now, no one dares to look at him. Not the patients he once saved, not the maids in his own mansion. Behind locked doors and endless books, he hides, a man with billions but no reason to live. Until one woman, a maid no one expected, walked into his forbidden library. She did what no one else dared to do, and in doing so, she awakened a story no one thought possible. Before we continue, dear lovers of Billionaire Romance Library, thank you so much for being here. If you love stories of love, pain, and redemption, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with your friends. Your support means everything, and it helps us bring you more unforgettable tales. Now, let's return back to the story. 5 years ago, Liam Thompson was in the hospital, attending to dozens of patients when he got an emergency call. On his way to attend to the casualties, a truck had hit his car from behind, ramming him into a chemical laboratory. That was where he encountered the acid accident, and his life almost lost meaning since that day. Though he anonymously acquired wealth in his library, Liam still couldn't get over that moment. The way people trashed and mocked his face after he woke from coma. See his face stitched like cloth. He's a monster, a colleague had sneered. He looks horrible. I can't let him treat me again. A patient, who he had been treating for 6 years, jeered. Insecurity wrapped him like a hug, and deep inside his mansion that he hadn't stepped out from in years, Liam turned into the monster people wanted him to be. But little did he know that something was about to change. And the cause was a young lady. Emily, a girl who had debts to pay and had accepted to be a new maid in his mansion despite all warnings. Never go near the library, the chief maid warned. That door is forbidden. If he finds you there, you're gone. But fate didn't wait. Emily stumbled inside by mistake. A vase crashed. Porcelain scattered as Liam leapt from his chair, rage blazing in his scarred face. How dare you enter here? His fist struck the table with force. Get out. I didn't know. Emily stammered. I don't care what you didn't know. His voice cracked like thunder. Leave. Any other maid would have fled. But Emily stayed long enough to speak. I will leave now, she affirmed. But I can follow rules. I can work. Liam squinted his eyes in annoyance. Do you even understand what happens to people who cross me? Yes, she answered. He slammed the door behind her. Tomorrow, you are gone. Do not return. Yet the next morning, she returned. Calm, steady, focused. You're back, he growled when he saw her. Yes, I came to work. I'll follow your rules, I promise. One wrong step, and you'll never walk in here again. Understood. Yes, she replied. And that was the start. Liam tested her. He gave her impossible chores. He barked insults. He left messes for her to clean. He locked doors at random, just to see if she would break. Every trial was designed to drive her out. But Emily never wavered. She worked. She listened. She stayed. She wanted to keep him alive with her company. One evening, she discovered journals arranged high in the library shelves. Notes, sketches, patient records, proof of the doctor he had once been. Lives saved. Operations recorded with precision. It stunned her. These are yours, she said in disbelief when he caught her reading. You shouldn't be here. His voice was ice. They show the truth about you. Do not touch my journals again. If you want this job, you stay away from them. She nodded, but her eyes lingered on him, and he knew it. Days passed. Their war of will grew. His fury against her calm, his temper against her patience. Then came the night he collapsed. Pain tore through him, sudden and overwhelming. Emily rushed to his side. Don't touch me, he barked. I don't need your help. You do, she said firmly, and I won't leave. Her hand stabilized him. Her words carried no fear. She looked at him, not at the scars, not at the mask he wore, but at the man himself. Liam tried to push her away, but inside, something cracked. The world had mocked him, called him cursed, called him a monster. But Emily, she called him a man. For years, his mansion had been nothing but stone and shadow. Now, because of her, it carried the first flicker of life. And though he would never admit it, not yet, Liam Thompson began to wonder if someone, at last, could stay. Liam watched her move through the mansion with sharp attention. Every step, every task, his eyes followed from the corners, raking over her, waiting for her to falter. He tested her with anger, but she never broke. Dust under the table, he snapped one morning. Do you see it? She glanced down. I'll clean it now. Her hands moved with calm precision. You call that cleaning? He barked, stepping closer. The corners, you missed them. I will redo it, she said, unshaken. He slammed a tray of silverware onto the counter. Do you enjoy failing? Or are you here to humiliate yourself? I'm here to work, she replied. I will meet your standards. His eyes burned into her. No one lasts this long. No one dares to defy me and survive. Leave now. Save yourself. I am not leaving. Her resolve unsettled him. Not arrogance, persistence. Every word chipped at his defenses. Day after day, he tested her. Messes left on purpose. Tasks designed to exhaust her. Traps in the halls. Doors that slammed. Lights that flickered. She endured them all without complaint. One evening, she found his journals. Records of surgeries, letters, patients saved in impossible conditions. Proof of the man he had been. He appeared behind her, voice low with fury. What are you doing here? I wanted to see your work, she admitted. You have no right, he snapped. Step away. I'm not harming anything, she answered. I want to understand the man I work for. His fist tightened. Do you know what I've lost? Do you know what the world calls me? I see a man, she said firmly. Not the scars. Not the rumors. Just a man. Her words pierced deeper than he expected. He turned away, retreating. That night, pain dropped him to the floor. She rushed forward. Stay back, he growled, weak but defiant. I can't. You need help. You don't understand. I am cursed. No, she said. You are in pain. Let me help. I warned you. You should have left. I made a choice, she answered. And I choose to stay. She cleaned his wounds, gave him medicine, and stayed beside him. For the first time since his fall, someone refused to recoil. She did not see a monster. She saw him. Morning came. He avoided her eyes, but something had shifted. You've endured much, he muttered. No one else could. I don't endure, she said. I only do what must be done. But why? His voice cracked with frustration. Why remain here? Why face me? Because you're a man who deserves to be seen. Her words unsettled him more than rage ever could. Weeks followed in the same rhythm. He tried to drive her out with anger, with impossible demands. She stayed. Every cruel word, every harsh task, she met them all. Slowly, the edges of his fury dulled. Slowly, the walls weakened. You think this is a game? He spat one afternoon. Do you know what happens when you cross me? I do, she said evenly. But I'll keep working. That is my choice. Her calm defiance struck him, and deep inside, a thought he had buried stirred. Maybe someone could remain despite the scars. One evening, he caught her with another journal. You should not be here, he growled. I'm learning about you, she said. About the man behind the walls. No one dares stay this long, he snapped. Do you know the risk? Yes, but hiding forever doesn't protect you. It only makes you lonely. He faltered. No words came. For the first time, he wondered what it meant that someone could face him without fear. The mansion began to change. Shadows no longer ruled every corner. His fortress no longer felt like a tomb. The library remained locked, the journals hidden, but something new had entered, a presence that did not retreat. Emily had refused to flee when all others had, and by staying, She began a chain of events that would alter everything. The Scar billionaire had met a challenge he could not silence. Not rivals, not enemies, not wealth. A woman who would not abandon him. A woman who saw a man where the world only saw a monster. And in that truth, he felt something he had buried for years rise inside him. Trust. The mansion carried an edge now. Liam had built walls, locked doors, ignored the world, but some shadows never stayed buried. Emily caught it each time, the flicker in his eyes when the phone rang, when letters arrived, when old clippings appeared, and then the storm he had tried to outrun arrived at his doorstep. His ex-fiancée. She came flaunting, arm wrapped in the rival doctor's, a smirk playing on her lips. Her words cut like glass. "Look at me now. I'm happy. You should try to keep up." His jaw clenched, rage sparking in his chest. But Emily didn't look away. She met the woman's eyes without a trace of fear. "She doesn't get to do this," Liam muttered. His voice was tight, controlled by years of buried fury. "She's not important," Emily answered, her tone calm. "Focus on what matters." But the woman had come armed, with old photos, stories of his brilliance as a doctor. Then her cruel laugh as she revealed how far he had fallen. "Do you see? Everyone remembers what you once were," she sneered. "And now, a shadow hiding behind money, a face no one dares to see." Liam's fist curled. His voice dropped like thunder. "Leave. You have no place here." "You're weak," she spat back. Rage pushed him forward, but Emily's hand rested on the arm of his chair, grounding him. "Her opinion doesn't define you," she said. "You are still the man who saved lives, who built everything, who survived what others could not." His eyes searched hers. "Do you really believe that?" "Yes," she said simply. "I see who you are. Not rumors. Not scars. You." Every instinct screamed at him to push her away. Kindness was dangerous. Trust was foolish. Yet her words clung, defying his silence, pulling at defenses he had kept locked. Beyond the walls, the rivals schemed. Letters, threats, documents slipped into their lives. Every piece was meant to dismantle him. Yet Emily did not retreat. She sat through late nights in the study, reviewed contracts, endured his bursts of anger. Her presence became unshakable. "They think they can break us," Liam muttered one night, pacing. "They believe I'm powerless." "You're not powerless," she said, "and they will learn it." Her certainty struck deeper than any insult could. One evening, after another cruel message from the ex-fiancée, Liam dropped into his chair, fury and exhaustion etched into his features. Emily knelt beside him, brushing papers aside. "Don't give them that power," she said. "Your past belongs to you, not them." "I can't," his voice cracked. "I can't escape the shame." "There is no shame in survival," she told him. "You're more than scars, more than their lies. You are a man who refuses to surrender." Something inside him shifted. For years, no one had seen past the fury, past the scars, past the legend of the beast. Yet here she was, unflinching, unafraid. Her presence transformed the halls. Where there had been silence, there was strategy. Where there had been isolation, there was companionship. She challenged him, teased him, even laughed at him. And for once, he found himself laughing back. "You've grown used to me," he said one night, half a question, half disbelief. "I've grown used to seeing you clearly," she replied. "The man behind everything." He let out a laugh that startled him, rough and real. "No one has ever stayed. No one has endured this. And yet I remain," she said, "because you are worth it." Her words struck like a match in the dark. The rivals' games, the ex-fiancée's venom, the judgment of the world, they were loud. But inside these walls, Emily was louder, stronger. Liam realized then, survival had taught him endurance. But Emily was teaching him something else. That trust could return. That loyalty could live. That even a man scarred by betrayal could still find connection. And in the quiet rise of that truth, something new began, dangerous, undeniable, and alive. Love. The luxurious mansion no longer felt like a grave. Emily's presence had changed it. She worked with focus, challenged without fear, and never wavered when Liam's anger flared. He tested her constantly. One afternoon, he threw a stack of documents onto the desk. "You think you can handle this? Others have failed." "I will finish it," she said. "Why do you persist?" "No one ever confronts me like this." "Because it's right. Work deserves respect. People deserve respect." Her words cut deeper than he thought. They forced him to see her differently. Days became relentless sessions. He began speaking more, teaching instead of berating. Chess games filled the study, their minds colliding over strategies. Books were exchanged, arguments drawn out, and sometimes laughter escaped between them. "You miscalculated again," he said one evening, pointing at her board. "Then I'll adapt. And if you lose, then I learn." For the first time in years, he almost smiled. Rumors spread outside. Cameras circled the mansion. One day, reporters shouted through the gates, "Is it true he's a monster?" "He is not a monster," Emily replied firmly. "He's a man, and he deserves to be seen." The clip went viral. The world whispered again, but this time with doubt. Inside, their connection deepened. Liam shared his knowledge, medicine, ethics, memories of a life stripped away. Emily showed him smaller joys, music, dancing in empty corridors, the satisfaction of easing another's burden without expecting reward. One night, he sat staring at a letter from his ex-fiancée, anger tight in his chest. "She can't hurt you anymore," Emily said. "Let her schemes die without your attention. I'm tired of defending everything, tired of being misunderstood. You are feared because people don't know the truth, but you're not alone anymore. I am here." Her certainty unsettled him. Not pity, not flattery, just conviction. He began lowering his guard. Conversations stretched into the night. She hummed while cleaning, and though unfamiliar, the sound was strangely welcome. "Do you always do that?" he asked. "Only when the work is done. Only when there's time to notice life." And he did notice. Her resilience, her calm, her refusal to treat him as anything less than human. Then Dave struck again. Legal attacks, false claims, corruption charges, all aimed to destroy Liam. Courtrooms became battlegrounds. Emily never left his side. "You should go," Liam said during one recess. "You don't owe me this. I'm not leaving. I told you before, your scars don't drive me away. I'll endure this with you." Her resolve anchored him more than any lawyer or guard. What began as tolerance became partnership. What began as survival became trust. Their laughter slipped into late-night talks, their debates into unspoken care. Even the mansion seemed different. Doors once locked for isolation opened for dialogue. The forbidden library still remained closed, but the thought of her entering no longer filled him with dread. It sparked anticipation. Every glance, every exchange pulled down the fortress he had built, and in its place grew something he had long denied, the spark of love. The mansion was no longer only a fortress. It had become a place of courage, of beginnings. And within its walls, Liam discovered what Emily had seen all along. Love is not found in perfection, but in persistence, in patience, and in the courage to remain. Liam had begun to rely on Emily. Her insight, her judgment, her courage. She had become the anchor in his storm. But danger was closer than either of them expected. One morning, she walked into the kitchen pale, her steps unsteady. "You're unwell," he said, watching her carefully. "I just need some water," she murmured, forcing a faint smile. Her hand trembled as she lifted the glass. "Sit," he ordered, already moving toward her. "I'm fine," she tried to insist. But before he could argue further, she collapsed. The crash against the floor ripped through him. Panic tore away his composure. "Help!" His voice rang through the mansion. Staff rushed in, chaos erupting. "Call a doctor now," he barked. At the hospital, doctors worked with urgency. Hours blurred together until, finally, her eyes opened. Liam was at her side instantly, gripping her hand. "You're safe," he said, voice low but fierce. "Do you understand? Safe now." "I didn't mean to scare you," she whispered, trying to laugh. "You nearly died." He exploded, his voice breaking. "Do you realize what that means?" "I'm here." She cut him off gently. "That's what matters." But Liam's mind was already racing. This wasn't an accident. Someone had poisoned her. Who would do this? His voice sliced through the room. Suspicion turned inward. He interrogated the staff. One maid faltered, guilt flashing in her eyes. Finally, the truth spilled out. She had been bribed. The ex-fiancé had ordered her to poison Emily. Liam's fury roared to the surface. "Get out, all of you, now." By nightfall, half the staff were gone. Yet the mansion felt more suffocating than before. He had almost lost her. Betrayal had entered his home. When Emily returned, her strength came back quicker than he expected. But Liam tried to push her away. "You should leave," he told her. "It's not safe here. My scars, my past, they bring danger. You shouldn't suffer because of me." Her eyes locked on his. "I'm not leaving. Your scars are not shame. I chose this life, and I will not run from it. You cannot scare me into leaving." His chest ached with something unfamiliar. Someone was choosing him, staying, defying the world to remain at his side. "You defy reason," he muttered. "I defy fear," she answered simply. "And I trust you." Her words cut through years of anger. For the first time, he let himself believe she might endure everything he carried. The mansion shifted with her recovery. It no longer felt like a prison. She filled its halls with resolve, reshaping it into something close to a home. Yet threats lingered. His ex and his rival weren't finished. They still clawed from the outside, trying to destroy him. But Emily never wavered. She sat in meetings, listened to his worries, faced the pressure head on. "You don't need to shield me from everything," she said one evening as they reviewed documents. "I can't stop myself," he confessed. "You've already suffered because of me. I can't allow more." "And yet it continues," she replied. "And I am still here. Doesn't that prove something? That fear isn't stronger than loyalty." Her words left him stunned. She had endured poison, betrayal, his temper, and still she stayed. And in that realization, something inside him shifted. The spark between them was no longer faint. It was real, present, alive. The scars, the mansion, the enemies, they were part of him. But now so was she. And together, they would face whatever came next. Liam sat by the tall window of his mansion, his gaze fixated on the city far away. Now, the time had come to face the one thing he thought he had lost forever, his medical license. Without it, he was a rich man in a cage. With it, he could return to the purpose that once gave him life. But standing in his way was Dave, his rival, a man who had waited for years to see him fall. Emily entered the room, holding a folder close to her chest. Her eyes were clear, and her steps were quick. "It's time," she said. "The board will hear your case today." Liam's jaw clenched. "They won't want me back. Not after what I look like." She stepped closer. "They don't need to want you. They need to see the truth. You are still the best doctor alive. That hasn't changed." Her faith pierced through his doubt. He rose from his chair, taking the folder from her hands. "Then let's fight." The hearing was set in a tall building, polished floors echoing with the sound of footsteps. Inside the main chamber, the board members waited, their expressions cold. Reporters lined the back wall, cameras ready. This was not just a meeting. It was a trial in the court of public opinion. Dave was already there, sitting with a smirk on his lips. He wore a perfect suit and radiated false charm. To everyone else, he was the model of success. To Liam, he was a snake. When Liam and Emily walked in, a wave of whispers swept through the room. His scars drew stares, the kind he had lived with for years. He ignored them. He had Emily at his side, and that gave him strength. The lead board member adjusted his glasses. "Dr. Thompson, you are here today to request reinstatement of your license. Many question your ability to work with patients in your current state. Why should we believe you can return to practice?" Before Liam could speak, Dave leaned forward. "If I may," he said, "Dr. Thompson was once a great man. No one denies that. But after the accident, he became unstable. He hides in his mansion. He fires staff at random. He cannot be trusted with lives anymore." Murmurs spread through the room. Liam's fists tightened, but Emily placed her hand on his arm, grounding him. "Dr. Thompson," the lead board member said, "how do you respond?" Liam jolted to his feet, his voice low but firm. "You took my license because you said patients would fear me, because of how I look. But medicine is not about looks. It is about skill. It is about saving lives, no matter the cost. And I still have that skill." He opened the folder Emily had given him. Inside were reports, testimonies, and case files. "These are patients I advised even after losing my license. Cases where other doctors gave up. I worked from my home, guiding teams who needed my knowledge. Every one of those patients is alive today because I refused to stop." The board studied the papers. Some raised brows. Some exchanged glances. But Dave was not done. "Interesting," Dave said smoothly. "But perhaps the board should also see this." He slid another folder forward. Financial records. Proof that Dr. Thompson paid off smaller hospitals to cover his mistakes. Evidence of negligence hidden by money. Gasps rippled through the room. Emily's face went pale. She knew Dave had planned this. "That's a lie," Liam growled. Dave leaned back in his chair. "Or is it? Ask yourself, board members, are you ready to put lives in the hands of a scarred recluse who bribes his way out of failure?" The lead member frowned. "Do you have proof these payments were not bribes, Dr. Thompson?" For a heartbeat, the room was thick with doubt. But Emily rose. Her voice cut clear. "Yes, we do." She stepped forward, holding up her own folder. "I looked into every payment. Every one of them was a grant to struggling hospitals. Money to buy supplies, machines, even food for patients who had nothing. Not 1 cent was a bribe. I have receipts, letters from those hospitals, even photos of equipment bought with his money. He was saving lives in secret while the world mocked him." She spread the documents out on the table. The board leaned in. Cameras clicked. The truth was laid bare. Dave's smile faltered. This proves nothing. Anyone can fake letters." But Emily was ready. "Then let them speak for themselves." She opened her phone and tapped a screen. A video call appeared on the chamber screen. Doctors and patients filled the view. One by one, they gave thanks to Liam. They spoke of surgeries guided by his voice, diagnoses only he could see, lives that would have been lost without him. The room shifted. Respect began to replace doubt. Even the coldest board members leaned back, stunned. The lead member raised a hand. "Enough." His eyes locked on Liam. "We see the truth. You never stopped being a doctor. You only stopped being seen as one. Your license is restored." Liam's chest lifted. The words hit him like light breaking through darkness. Emily smiled, eyes bright. Dave slammed his fist on the table, but it was over. The board ignored him. Security came, escorting him out. His game was done. The chairman extended a hand. "Welcome back, doctor." For the first time in years, Liam fell whole again. Not because of the license alone, but because Emily had stood by him, because truth had won, because hope had returned. News spread fast. The doctor once shunned was now reinstated. Reporters camped outside, snapping pictures. Some still gasped at his scars, but many clapped, cheering his return. Emily walked with him through the crowd, her hand never leaving his. Back at the mansion, the staff gathered. Some bowed their heads, ashamed for how they had treated him. He did not scold them. He simply said, "The past is done. What matters is now." Emily hugged him. "Now you can do what you were made for. He nodded. "And I will not do it alone. You're a part of this." Plans began at once. With Emily as his partner, they drafted designs for new hospitals. Not just one, but many. Places where the poor could be treated without fear of cost. Places where young doctors could learn under his eye. The first hospital opened months later. The crowd outside cheered as the doors swung wide. Liam walked inside with Emily. His scars no longer stopped him. He entered the first ward. A child lay in bed, weak from fever. Liam checked him, spoke to him, and the boy smiled. It was small, but it was proof. Liam was back. Day after day, he worked. At first, patients looked away. But soon, word spread. The man who bore scars was the same man who saved lives. Trust returned, little by little. Emily was always near. She managed the staff, spoke to families, kept the work flowing. At night, she and Liam sat together, planning new wings, new centers, more beds. Their bond deepened with each step. Then came their wedding. It was not a lavish affair, though they could afford anything. They chose simple vows in the hospital garden, surrounded by staff and patients. When Liam spoke his vow, he said, "You gave me back my life." Emily replied, "And you gave me your heart." They kissed, and cheers filled the air. Even the children clapped. It was not about scars, not about money. It was about love that had stood through fire. Soon after, they broke ground on 2 more hospitals. Liam worked with engineers, Emily with donors. Together, they built an empire not of gold, but of healing. Dave tried once more from the shadows. He sent men to threaten, to block permits, to spread rumors. But this time Liam was ready. He had allies, he had proof, and most of all, he had Emily. When officials came with questions, she showed them records. When papers tried to smear them, Liam faced the cameras and told the truth. Dave's power broke apart. He was left bitter and alone, his plans crushed. Years passed, but not in pain. In growth, the hospitals multiplied. Liam taught young doctors. Emily built programs for widows, orphans, and the poor. Together, they touched lives in ways money alone never could. One evening, as they walked through a new wing filled with patients, Liam paused. Children laughed in the hall. Nurses moved briskly. Families prayed with hope. He turned to Emily. "I thought my scars ended me, but you showed me they were only the start." She smiled. "They did not end you. They revealed you." He kissed her hand. "And you revealed me." The mansion that had once been his cage became a home full of life. The library where he had hidden became a study where plans were born. The man who had been feared as a beast became known again as a healer, stronger than before. And so Liam Thompson, the doctor scarred by hate, found not just healing for himself, but for a world in need. With Emily Carter by his side, he built more than hospitals. He built hope. The story of his return spread far and wide. People spoke of the doctor who refused to stop, the wife who never let go. The empire built on scars turned to strength. A year later, Emily sat with Liam on the beach, the waves moving in a placid rhythm. Her hand traced the lines on his skin, each mark a story of what they had faced. She looked at him with pride, her heart full. Liam's hand rested on her belly, feeling the small life inside. He smiled at her, and she knew that no fight, no pain, could ever take this peace away. And this is the story of a scarred billionaire, once rejected by all, who found love in the woman who saw past his pain. Not every fairy tale is about beauty. It is about the courage to see beyond it. If you enjoyed this story, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing how far stories travel. And if you want more unique billionaire love stories like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Click on the new video above. Another powerful story is waiting for you. See you in the next one.